In the quiet town of Riverview, where life seemed to drift along with the winding river, lived a woman named Clara Thompson, with dark hair cascading over her shoulders and piercing green eyes that betrayed a fierce spirit. Clara was known for her kindness and unyielding loyalty. Growing up in a modest household, she learned the value of hard work from her parents, who instilled in her the belief that integrity and compassion would always guide her through life's challenges. However, beneath her gentle exterior lay a simmering turmoil that would soon reshape her life forever. Clara had once been the heart of her community, celebrated for her volunteer work at the local shelter and her unwavering support for friends. But everything changed when tragedy struck. A sudden, brutal betrayal by someone she trusted tore through her world. Her childhood friend, Andrew, once like a brother to her, betrayed Clara's trust in a moment of greed, leading to the loss of everything she held dear: a family business built on generations of love and sacrifice. In the aftermath, Clara found herself ostracized and alone, living with the haunting memories of better days. The betrayal ignited a fire within Clara. It was no longer about simply mourning what she lost, but rather about reclaiming her life and dignity. As she reflected on her shattered dreams, the notion of revenge took root in her heart. Fueled by anger and sorrow, Clara began to plot her course. She transformed from the nurturing soul everyone knew into a determined force driven by an insatiable need for justice. Clara's journey was just beginning, marked by an unyielding resolve to confront Andrew and reclaim not only what was taken from her, but also the power she believed he had stolen from her very spirit. The moment Clara received the news felt like a punch to the gut. It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon when she discovered that Andrew had struck a deal behind her back, selling their family business, Thompson and Sons, to a rival company eager to exploit its legacy. A single email, curt and devoid of emotion, shattered her world. For Clara, the business wasn't just a financial endeavor. It was the culmination of her family's dreams, the heart of their community, and a testament to years of hard work and love. She sat alone in her empty office, surrounded by dusty memorabilia of happier times. Memories flooded her mind. Her father teaching her the ropes, the laughter shared with her mother over bustling dinner tables, filled with family and friends. Each recollection served as a reminder of what she had lost, deepening her sense of betrayal. Andrew had not only taken away her livelihood, but had also tarnished the trust and camaraderie they once shared. The weight of this realization bore down on her, igniting a storm of emotions: anger, sorrow, and an unrelenting desire for retribution. Clara's heartbreak morphed into a fierce determination. She could no longer allow herself to be the victim in this story. The betrayal was not just an affront to her family's legacy. It was a personal attack on everything she stood for. As the days passed, that emotional turmoil began to crystallize into something tangible: a plan for revenge. She meticulously gathered evidence of Andrew's deceit while reconnecting with old allies who felt equally betrayed by his greed. Fueled by righteous indignation and raw pain, Clara set out to reclaim her dignity and destroy the man who had taken so much from her. The quiet woman from Riverview was gone. In her place stood a strategist, ready to take back what was rightfully hers. Andrew Morgan had always been the charismatic figure in Riverview, a man whose charm and cunning made him both well-liked and feared. From a young age, he had honed his skills in manipulation, effortlessly drawing people into his schemes while hiding his true intentions beneath a veneer of friendship. When Clara entrusted him with the future of Thompson and Sons, she believed she was putting her faith in someone who shared her values. Instead, Andrew reveled in the shadows, ready to capitalize on her trust for personal gain. Orchestrating the sale of their family business to a rival company, Andrew displayed an alarming ruthlessness. He approached this transaction with calculated precision, exploiting Clara's emotional vulnerabilities to position himself as the sole decision-maker. As negotiations unfolded behind closed doors, he painted a picture of inevitable failure for the family business, convincing potential buyers that its legacy was doomed without his strategic guidance. The moment he signed away everything Clara held dear was not just a professional betrayal, it was a personal affront that revealed his deep-seated ambition to climb over others, regardless of the cost. The ramifications of Andrew's actions were profound. With each passing day after the betrayal, Clara felt her sense of identity erode. As word spread through Riverview about the sale, whispers followed her like shadows. Once celebrated as a community leader, she became an object of pity. Friends who once rallied around her now avoided eye contact or offered empty platitudes, forcing Clara deeper into isolation. The intimate gatherings that once filled her home grew silent, leaving her alone with the memories that haunted every corner. Andrew's power lay not just in his financial maneuvering but in his ability to weaponize relationships against those who cared for him. He thrived on control and domination, turning Clara's world upside down and igniting the fire within her that demanded justice, making it clear that she could no longer remain passive in the face of such treachery. As Clara delved deeper into her quest for revenge, a remarkable transformation began to take shape, both physically and emotionally. The once gentle woman who wore her heart on her sleeve now approached the world with newfound resolve. Her days were no longer spent in sorrowful contemplation. Instead, they were filled with purpose and determination. Clara adopted a rigorous workout routine, harnessing her inner strength and transforming her body into a vessel of resilience. She found solace in the gym, each drop of sweat a release of pent-up anger and frustration as she sculpted herself into someone who would no longer be victimized. Emotionally, Clara underwent an equally profound metamorphosis. The pain of betrayal hardened her resolve, sharpening her focus like a blade. She immersed herself in research about business law and negotiation tactics, determined not to be blindsided again. Every late night spent poring over legal documents and case studies built her confidence and equipped her with the knowledge necessary to confront Andrew on equal footing. Clara also reached out to former allies in the community, those who had also felt the sting of Andrew's manipulations and forged new alliances. Together, they shared stories of betrayal and loss, finding strength in unity that rekindled her sense of belonging. With each passing day, Clara's strategy began to take shape, mapping out not just how to confront Andrew but also how to reclaim what was rightfully hers. She learned to navigate the treacherous waters of corporate dealings with finesse and courage, transforming from a passive participant into an assertive player ready to challenge the very man who had once been her confidant. This evolution was not without its challenges. There were moments when self-doubt threatened to creep back in, yet each setback only fueled Clara's fire further, reminding her that vengeance was not only about reclaiming lost assets, but also about restoring her sense of identity, a fierce warrior rising from the ashes of betrayal. With Clara's transformation solidified, the next phase of her journey focused on meticulous planning. She understood that revenge required more than just raw emotion. It needed strategy, precision, and a network of support. Drawing upon her research in business law, she began to outline a comprehensive plan to not only confront Andrew but also to reclaim Thompson and Sons. Clara started by gathering critical evidence against Andrew's underhanded dealings. Late nights were spent combing through legal documents and financial statements from the business, pinpointing discrepancies that would expose his betrayal. She knew that if she could prove his wrongdoing, it might not only weaken his position but also rally community support behind her. Simultaneously, Clara reached out to her old allies, those who had once shared a camaraderie over the family business. She organized discreet meetings at a local cafe where they could discuss their shared grievances. Each conversation unveiled stories of Andrew's manipulations, strengthening their bond and solidifying their resolve to stand against him. Clara's friends offered not only emotional support but also valuable insights into how they could collectively challenge Andrew's authority. To bolster her case further, Clara sought the help of an attorney who specialized in corporate law. After a few tentative phone calls, she secured a meeting with Rebecca, a sharp and seasoned lawyer known for taking down powerful adversaries. Their collaboration became crucial as Rebecca provided Clara with legal strategies to navigate the complexities of the situation. Clara meticulously mapped out each stage of her plan, from gathering evidence and building alliances to publicizing Andrew's deceitful actions. She envisioned a confrontation that would not only expose him but also restore her family's legacy in Riverview. The fire within her now burned brighter than ever. She was no longer just seeking revenge. She was on the path to reclaiming her life and dignity, preparing to unleash her meticulously crafted plan against the man who had once been her closest friend. As Clara's plans began to coalesce, she experienced her first significant victory when she successfully uncovered a crucial document proving Andrew's manipulative tactics during the sale of Thompson and Sons. Late one evening, while reviewing financial records with Rebecca, she stumbled upon an email chain that exposed Andrew's collusion with a rival company. The thrill of discovery sent a rush of adrenaline through her veins. She could finally see the path to justice unfolding before her. Feeling empowered, Clara decided to leverage this evidence as a means to rally community support. She organized a meeting at the local community center, inviting those who had been affected by Andrew's actions. With her allies gathered around her, she presented the findings, emphasizing how his betrayal had impacted not just her family, but the entire town. The response was electrifying. Her friends rallied to her side, eager to help expose Andrew and restore their shared legacy. However, just as Clara felt buoyed by this initial success, unforeseen challenges emerged. News of her meeting reached Andrew through an anonymous tip-off. He wasted no time in launching a counteroffensive. Leveraging his charm and influence, he spun a narrative that painted Clara as bitter and vengeful rather than a victim seeking justice. This manipulation turned some townspeople against her, sowing seeds of doubt about her motives. As whispers circulated and loyalties shifted, Clara felt the ground beneath her shift precariously. The setback left Clara reeling but also ignited a fierce determination within her. She realized that this battle was not just about reclaiming Thompson and Sons. It was a fight for her reputation and integrity in Riverview. With renewed focus, she strategized how to counteract Andrew's narrative while solidifying alliances with those who truly understood her plight. This unexpected twist fueled Clara's resolve even more. She would not back down. Instead, she would adapt and strengthen her approach in this high-stakes game of revenge and redemption. As Clara delved deeper into her plans for revenge, a wave of doubt began to wash over her. The initial thrill of uncovering Andrew's deceit and rallying her community had fueled her resolve, but the ensuing chaos brought with it moments of introspection that shook her foundation. During a quiet evening spent reviewing the evidence with Rebecca, she suddenly paused and asked herself, was revenge truly the path to closure? Clara recalled the laughter shared with Andrew in simpler times, memories that seemed like whispers of a bygone friendship. The man she once beloved was now her adversary. Yet in the depths of her heart, she grappled with whether destroying him would bring genuine justice or merely breed more darkness within herself. Each time she envisioned the confrontation, the image shifted from triumph to hollow victory, leaving a bitter taste in her mouth. These ethical dilemmas intensified when she spoke with her allies at their regular meetups. Some expressed hesitance about going public against Andrew, arguing that resorting to revenge might tarnish Clara's character further. Is this how we fight back? One friend challenged. By becoming like him? Their words resonated deep within Clara. She knew that setting out to destroy someone could lead her down a dangerous path where morality blurred into vindictiveness. As Clara continued to strategize, she found herself torn between the desire for retribution and the wish to rise above it all. Could she find a way to reclaim her family's legacy without losing her own integrity? These questions haunted her during sleepless nights as she scoured through papers, desperately searching not just for evidence against Andrew but clarity within herself. Each setback seemed to strip away her self-assurance, forcing her to confront what mattered more: justice, vengeance, or the preservation of the values that had defined her for so long. The conflict within stirred an unyielding challenge. Clara had to decide not only how to confront Andrew but who she would become in the process. The day of the confrontation arrived, and Clara felt a storm brewing inside her. The community center was filled with Palpable tension as supporters gathered for the meeting she had orchestrated to expose Andrew's treachery. Clara stood at the front, her heart pounding and her palms clammy, feeling the weight of every expectant gaze on her. She had put everything on the line. Her reputation, her relationships, and her quest for justice all hinged on this moment. With Rebecca by her side, Clara prepared to present the evidence she had painstakingly gathered. The room buzzed with murmurs as familiar faces filled the seats, some appearing eager for justice, while others wore skeptical expressions, remnants of Andrew's manipulative narrative still swirling in their minds. As Clara began to speak, recounting the betrayal and unveiling the incriminating documents that revealed Andrew's collusion with a rival company, she could sense the atmosphere shifting. Whispers turned into gasps, and eyes widened in disbelief. Just as she was building momentum, Andrew entered the room with his characteristic swagger. A stark contrast to Clara's focused determination. A hush fell over the crowd as he took his place at the back, arms crossed and a knowing smirk plastered on his face. His presence sent a ripple of unease through Clara. She knew he would try to undermine everything she had worked for. "Isn't it ironic?" Andrew interrupted smoothly, stepping forward with calculated confidence. "Clara wants to present herself as a victim when in reality, she's been driven by jealousy and bitterness." His words sliced through Clara's resolve like a knife. He was already spinning his counter-narrative even before she could finish. The stakes escalated dramatically as tensions flared between them. Clara's allies stood firm beside her while murmurs of doubt circulated through those uncertain about her motives. The air crackled with anticipation as both sides prepared for an ideological clash that would determine not just Clara's future but also her standing in Riverview. In those moments before full confrontation erupted, Clara realized this wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was a defining battle between two worlds, her quest for justice against Andrew's duplicity, and one that could change everything they had once known. With a deep breath and steely determination in her eyes, Clara squared her shoulders and prepared to stand firm against him, ready to reclaim not just her family legacy, but also who she truly was. The aftermath of the confrontation rippled through Riverview, leaving lasting impacts on both Clara and Andrew. As Clara emerged victorious, her heart raced with adrenaline and a sense of empowerment that coursed through her veins. Yet, the victory was not without its emotional toll. The moment she had long awaited, to stand up for her family's legacy, had quickly devolved into a bitter realization. Revenge, though satisfying, had left scars on her soul. She felt a mix of relief and sadness, knowing that while she had reclaimed her dignity, the act of exposing Andrew had irrevocably altered their shared history. In the weeks that followed, Clara experienced an array of emotions. Elation mingled with remorse. Her allies celebrated the triumph, but whispers of doubt began to creep in. Some community members questioned whether bringing Andrew to justice had been worth the tension it created among friends and acquaintances. The town felt divided. Clara found herself grappling with the perceived heroism of her actions against the backdrop of an estranged relationship with a once-beloved friend. For Andrew, the fallout was even more acute. His carefully cultivated persona shattered under public scrutiny, his charm turning to bitterness as he faced backlash in both his personal and professional life. The documents Clara unveiled exposed more than just financial deceit. They unraveled his reputation, leaving him isolated and vulnerable. Once the charismatic leader in town, Andrew found himself ostracized and plagued by self-doubt. He could no longer walk the streets of Riverview without facing whispers of betrayal from those he had once manipulated. As the dust settled, both Clara and Andrew were forced to confront their new realities. Clara wrestled with her newfound power and its implications for her future, realizing that true strength lay not just in vengeance, but in finding peace within herself. Meanwhile, Andrew confronted the consequences of his choices, reconsidering the depths of betrayal and its impact on his life. In the end, both were left standing at crossroads, shaped by their encounters and facing uncertain futures filled with introspection and painful lessons learned. As the dust settled in Riverview, Clara found herself at a poignant crossroads, reflecting deeply on her journey from betrayal to vengeance. The thrill of having exposed Andrew's deceit was tempered by a nagging emptiness, while she had regained her dignity. The pursuit of revenge had transformed not just her life, but also her understanding of justice and personal integrity. And quiet moments, alone in her office at Thompson and Sons, surrounded by remnants of her family's legacy, Clara contemplated what the fight truly meant for her spirit. She began to prioritize healing over holding onto the pain that had propelled her actions, acknowledging the scars left by both Andrew's betrayal and her own whirlwind of emotions. Clara sought solace in reconnecting with those who had supported her throughout the ordeal. Gathering with friends and allies who had fought alongside her no longer felt like a strategy session, but rather like a community coming together to rebuild their lives. A restoration process that demanded reflection rather than retribution. During long walks along the riverbanks where she once played as a child, Clara sought inner peace. Nature became her refuge as she understood that harboring bitterness eroded her sense of self. Conversations with Rebecca helped clarify that justice did not always mean vengeance. True power lay in forgiveness and moving forward with grace. This shift in perspective brought Clara unexpected calmness as she worked toward repairing relationships frayed by conflict. Meanwhile, Andrew grappled with his new reality in solitude. He too reflected on his choices and found himself consumed by regret and reflection. Knowing that he could never return to being the person he once was marked a turning point for him, leading to an introspective journey of his OW and AS. Months passed, Clara found a sense of purpose beyond revenge. She became an advocate for fairness in business practices, using her experience to educate others about betrayal. The once painful pursuit transformed into an empowering mission rooted firmly in hope rather than resentment. And letting go of the need for reprisal, Clara discovered liberation and peace within herself, a peace born not from revenge, but from reclaiming her narrative with strength instead of bitterness.